Hello, today we're going to be talking about Etherfields. Not exactly Etherfields, the board game, but rather the expansions for just the miniatures for this game. I'm sorry, I forgot to do my YouTube accent.
You have such weird miniatures. That's what people say when they come to my gaming table. And let me tell you, back in the day, it used to be just mostly Dreamblade miniatures that I used for my weird miniatures, but nowadays is a golden era for miniatures, and you can make and design your own, and you also have a plethora of cheap miniatures that you can find on clearance and sale all around the internet. And in this episode of Weird Miniatures, we're going to be talking about Etherfield miniatures, but not the board game, just the miniature expansions, which is pretty nice. They're pretty hefty priced at MSRP, but these go on sale a lot. I got these boxes for $30 a piece, and I've seen them at that price at several different retailers online. And if you want the 411 on what miniatures are on sale where, then you gotta check out the Discord. Link is going to be in the community tab. I try to link the best sales on the community tab, but sadly, when it comes to online retailers, usually the good stuff sells out within mere hours of a sale happening. Obviously, because the board game takes place in kind of a dreamscape nightmare reality, a lot of these are truly bizarre. But I've seen board games like, for example, Kingdom Death Monster, where the bizarreness goes to a place that was almost, not really my cup of tea when it comes to general aesthetics. But these are quite charming for the most part. There are some grosser, disgusting-looking ones, but generally speaking, this is still kind of my speed for something like a Mimic that looks like a living cupboard. And yeah, I love the fact that there are two completely different sets, and one of them are... Also, check out, they modeled the back of the insert. What madman designed this? Anywho, a really gross frog smoking, a walking chest of drawers, which I think actually is pretty cool looking. That would make a neat magical automaton. Nice little dude there, almost in scale for D&D. And this lovely automaton. I definitely painted this guy up. Make sure you stick around for the painted pictures. Love mechanical stuff like that. Kind of like a druid craft type guy here. And as you can see, the miniatures are definitely in larger scale than 28 millimeters. So a lot of these are going to make some very good monster characters, but there's not going to be any NPCs that are going to be in scale with 28 millimeter heroic style miniatures from other places. So generally speaking, I think these boxes are great. And I gotta say, the second one, the alternative sculpts, definitely had the majority of the sculpts that I really am interested in. Here you can see kind of the variation of sizes here and why most of these miniatures are just a little bit too big. This guy is actually pretty well sized for 28 millimeter, but he certainly does not look like a PC or an NPC for sure. We got the frog with the butterfly wings, which is a lovely miniature, and some other great miniatures, including that first Mimic, which comes in the first box. What a fun thing. You can't tell me that was not inspired by D&D. It clearly was. And here we have that guy who is pretty close to being in scale, and I guess you could definitely use him for an NPC. The giant lady here who would make a great statue or some sort of goddess or perhaps a storm giant of some sort. The mask seller, which is a very creepy guy here. I couldn't get a picture, but his face literally looks exactly like the creepy mask he's holding up. And the creature from the box art, which is like a lady sort of morphing or morphed into a equine. And another kind of pretty miniature. It just makes a nice, good goddess or statue or spell effect or some sort. And then the big old giant mechanical guy here. A lot of people have done paint jobs where he's like got glowing lava in his mouth. Very interesting. Very Bioshock vibes. And of course, this one that shows the variance in scale where the guy is just like super tiny sized. And this guy who is perfect for some sort of death giant or aspect of some sort of god. And these are the two that I decided to paint up. I used, I used just basic techniques, but I did kind of want to speed paint these, so I did prime them in gray and dark gray, so I could just use some very basic glazing and dry brush techniques. And I think these turned out great. The automaton took me almost no time to paint because it was just 2 dry brushes of gold. This guy looked so good, and I think I screwed up on the blue because I was trying to find something that would go well with gold. So dark blue, but then I highlighted it so it's kind of like a light blue, and it just doesn't look quite as nice as I envisioned. But hey, these are speed paints. I want something for the table, and the weird hunched over enemy there does look really very interesting. Kind of see here where his skin is all just completely mixed up. Like, there's so many little details when you paint that comes out. It's very nice. I tried to, do some basic effects with some, just basic wet blending and washes. That's supposed to be like a dead bird or a chicken on his side there, but I just didn't feel up to painting that properly. And to my surprise, there was actually some little tentacles poking up from the base of this guy, which is neat that they have such nice detailed bases, but yeah. Yeah, also I noted too, the alternate creature box has the artwork for the fox creature, who I think is probably the creature everybody expects to get in that box. But no, you don't get that creature in that box. Rather, you get the alternative, which looks more like a fox. So I just thought that was a little bit weird that you get the box art was kind of a little bit deceiving because you don't get that miniature in that box. Anywho. So anyways, very interesting stuff. I always get asked where I get all my weird miniatures from, and basically I just look around for sales, and there's a lot of tabletop games out there where the scale, as in Etherfields, the scale isn't going to fit into perfect sync with D&D stuff, but at the same time, if you're dealing with monsters and custom monsters, it doesn't really matter that much. So I definitely take from a bunch of anything I can find on deep clearance and stuff. There's usually something I can do with it. So I hope you found this interesting. If you have any questions or you want me to cover any other specific weird miniatures, or if you've seen miniatures in the past that I've had in my collection and you want to learn more, let me know in the comments below.